Israel's military has denied striking a tent camp west of Rafah after Gaza health authorities said Israeli tank shelling had killed at least 21 people there. This is an area Israel has designated a civilian evacuation zone. But earlier, defying an appeal from the International Court of Justice, Israeli tanks advanced to the heart of Rafah for the first time after a night of heavy bombardment, while Spain, Ireland and Norway officially recognized a Palestinian state. Now that's a move that further deepens Israel's international isolation. Israel's closest ally, the United States, reiterated its opposition to a major Israeli ground offensive in Rafah, but said it did not believe such an operation was currently underway. In central Rafah, however, tanks and armored vehicles mounted with machine guns were spotted near the Al-Afda Mosque, which is a city landmark. And the Israeli military said its forces continue to operate in the Rafah area without commenting on reported advances as far as the city center is concerned. Meanwhile, global leaders continue to voice horror at the fire in a designated humanitarian zone of Rafah, where families uprooted by fighting elsewhere had sought shelter, and they urged the implementation of a world court order last week for a halt to Israel's Rafah invasion.
Israeli government has to be replaced as soon as possible. This is a totally inappropriate leadership for the people of Israel, for the state of Israel. Prime Minister has failed completely. Before the October tragic events and ever since the October events, the handling of the military operation was not right, and the present time, continuing this operation does not serve any national interest that is worse for the state of Israel. We just have to stop it, and we have to try and deal with our domestic issues, which are very serious and threatening the foundations of our country, our status in the world. The international community attitude to the state of Israel is eroding on a minute basis, on a daily basis.
El Estado de Israel ha actuado siempre por encima del derecho y de la ley y siempre ha salido con la suya. Entonces es el momento de que sepa que es un Estado como cualquiera, y como Estado como cualquiera tiene los mismos derechos y los mismos deberes, y no puede seguir escapándose de las consecuencias de sus hechos.
But the United States does not believe Israel has launched a full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. This is what White House spokesman John Kirby has said on record. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller has said Israel also has the obligation to do everything possible to minimize civilian harm as it carries out its operations. Listen in.
Like many of you, I'm sure, I watched the videos that emerged from the fire that broke out in the camp there this weekend. Those images were heartbreaking. As we have said before, Israel has a right to go after the Hamas terrorists responsible for the cold-blooded murder of civilians, as appears to have been Israel's aim here. And Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians in Gaza. But Israel also has the obligation to do everything possible to minimize civilian harm as it carries out its operations.